Hi, this is radio talk show host Deanne Burley from The Detectors that you can hear on truthradio.com, Blog Talk Radio, and a host of other broadcasts. This will appear on iTunes. It will also appear on to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and various other sites I'm on. And I have a presence of about 30 million on the internet. Today, I'm going to talk about why people are still losing their homes during this time of open-eyed levels of information showing that there is blatant fraud in mortgages from the tobacco. I was in the mortgage industry, and again, I saw this stuff from the inside out. And the bottom line is that there are things that people can do that will save their homes. But the thing is, people don't listen. They don't hear, and they also don't know their legal rights. A lot of times you seek out the advice and people tell you this and they tell you that, but obviously right before your eyes is enough evidence to show that there was a crime committed. The crime that was committed was against you in documentation of what happened with your home on the mortgage that you had gotten, the first mortgage and the second mortgage probably, in the transfer of this documentation. It all is held in the issue of the deed. The deed is the right of ownership. A lot of people don't understand, and again, if you don't understand, the courts will only allow the information that they have before them that they think is fact. So the first person that files is the bank or the mortgage company. They go after you stating that they have claim to your home. If they are not on the deed, then how can they file? To go into court to file a lawsuit, you have to have proof, evidence, of fact that you have some type of fiduciary connection to the property. If you don't have fiduciary connection to the property and you're being sued by somebody that doesn't, don't you understand that person should be able to get in trouble with the court, should be able to be brought forth on charges, because they have to have the deed of the property. If they don't have the deed, how can the court hear this information? People seek out advice all over the planet, and they listen to different things, and they don't know the rule of law. They don't know what they're doing when they file paperwork. And when you file the paperwork wrong, folks, that's how you get into this mess. A friend of mine, Jack Wright, if you look him up on the internet, he was down in Dallas, Texas. He was a multimillionaire builder, and he had a home down there. And anyway, it was a criminal issue that they came in and they basically took the right of way of his home from him. Now, Jack had been paying his mortgage nonstop, but then with the change from hand to hand on the secondary market and some other little things that they did, they said they never received his payment. So he went in foreclosure, didn't even know he was in foreclosure, and they took him in and they basically had a judgment against his house. Jack fought back. Jack stayed at his house all the way until Christmas Eve, almost, I think it was 8 to 10 years later, by filing the proper litigation. He's still in court with them now because it was all based on a fraud. All of it. Now again, nobody's going to tell you these things because again, if the courts actually were working in the basis of looking at these frauds, then all this thing of people taking you to court and have no connections and ties to the deed would stop. Just stopped. Period. It's not. You have the situation in MERS system, MERS system. It was ruled in a court system of New York that that system was corrupted. There was a big, huge lawsuit about it. huge lawsuit. The record of the court that showed who was in foreclosure and who had the actual title deed, that record was not correct, so therefore whatever was coming into court was not a correct record. That's number one. The other history that you need to know too is that if it was sold at a secondary market and the paper was improperly transferred, then how, again, do they have the right to take you to court? That's number two. Now, when you go and state this to attorneys and various other people, they'll tell you, oh, well, you know, whatever, and it's too late now, this, that, and the other. It's not too late because it's a criminal issue, but these people need to act on the criminal issue because more and more people are going into foreclosure for no reason at all other than they don't know the facts of law, the rule of law, and what it is that they need to do to correct the situation. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I am a paralegal, and I have had this talk show for I don't know how long, and I've had everyone on from every walk of life that have had situations dealing with the mortgage industry. I was in the mortgage industry. I was director of a mortgage company. I worked in the courts, and I also worked for one of the largest law firms in Illinois. But the bottom line is if you don't know your rights and you don't know the law and you file the wrong paperwork and documentation, then you're going to be subjugated to losing your home, period. Now, it's a situation that you can appeal it. Now, appeal needs most likely a bond in some states. Who knows? But it doesn't give you a guarantee that you're going to go back and they're going to review your documents and give you the right to your property. You have to know how to argue. You know what your defense is, and this is the reason why people go to an attorney. If you go to an attorney that you put $5,000 with or whatever, with a large law firm, they most likely can help you. The smaller law firms can, but it depends on who you're up against. If you're up against a big law firm, they have a lot of money and assets. The guy that you hired that doesn't have the money and assets is going to fight a case that's going to be very difficult for him to win because they have hundreds of people working for them in this large law firm, and they can execute a lot of information much quickly than your attorney can. Now, it doesn't say your attorney isn't good, and there's tons of very, very good attorneys out there, but there are ones out there that aren't good because of the lack of having backing in their offices. Now, again, if you don't trust what I'm saying, look at the cases. Look what's going on, too, currently. You have a lot of these banks right now, they're in class action lawsuits. Class action lawsuits are being filed all over the place and being won on this mortgage fraud. Now, it's maybe even against the bank you're with. Now, is that information taken in evidence and thrown in support of your case? And I doubt it. Because that's evidence of fact that there is a criminal activity going on, and therefore that should be taken in consideration due to the fact you were part of fraud. If it happened during the course of the time that the lawsuit was stated that, by the Attorney General or whatever, if it was stated, then you have a very, very good chance to bring that information to the case that you're in court with. But all this stuff needs to be considered and looked at, and it needs to be placed in the hands of the attorney so the attorney will know that there's a pending class action lawsuit or filings or pleadings that have gone through the court and have been won, which is a tort. And that can be maybe used in your case, which will help solidify the factors of why your house is being foreclosed on illegally. Now, if you want some more information on what I'm talking about, and you want to talk to me, you can by calling 630-863-7199. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I'm a talk show host, and I advocate for people, and I have individuals that might be able to share because there are now forensic auditors handling the situation of foreclosures. And I happen to be one. So again, the forensic on the case is like a crime scene of a murder mystery. You go in and you look at every aspect to see clearly through an audit what went wrong from the time you filed the document to the rest of the statement to the time that you got your first mortgage through all the way to the end when they came to your door and started knocking saying that you need to leave your home. So is it too late? Not necessarily, depending on where you are in your foreclosure. But there are forensic auditors out there that are looking into the aspect of these frauds. They're going on all across the United States. And again, I will say that if there is a class action lawsuit that has been settled, if there are cases filed that in court that says that there was criminal aspects or fraud, those things should be taken in consideration for your case. Now, this is Deanne Burley, talk show host. I hope I can help you understand what you need to do if you're in a foreclosed situation. I gave your number, my number. My email is danne.burley@gmail.com. If you'd like to come on the air to talk about your situation, I would love to invite you because I think that this is a very important situation, and more people need to hear what other people are going through and experiencing out here. So again, I hope this helps. This is my tip, and I will be on tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio, Deanne Burley Show, The Detectors. Good night, everyone.